This is Buck Barnhart, the audio portion of this thing. Robin Pasquale Barnhart is the technical supervisor of the operation. This is kind of a conglomeration of Barnhart clan activities from early 1950 to probably up in 60 or 62. We start out with some activities out this State Fair rodeo, grand entry. Of course, you can tell what's going on here. Bareback riding. That's a pretty good ride. And you look at these pictures now, and what the rodeo grounds are like. This looks like ancient history or the poverty area or something like that, because the changes to the fairground have been quite immense. That guy did a pretty good job on a spinning horse. There's the clowns. Of course, they're the safety net for the whole thing. That fellow was smart. He didn't even ride out past the chute. Here they come. And this is the Lady Barrel Racers, which is pretty active sort of thing. But now we're steer wrestling. Of course, this guy missed the point. You're supposed to hit them when they come out of the chute. Then he got the red flag, means he was disqualified. This fellow's taking his calf for a walk and didn't do very well. Still doesn't have the red flag down. Yeah, I finally got him. See, this guy hit his soon, but now the calf's throwing him instead of him throwing the calf. This is where a lot of Western language comes from. Okay, he got on him quick, but he's not getting him down. The calves. Well, they got fast calves, and guys can't get him stopped. He did a pretty good job after he got him down or got him caught. The fancy horse show part of the thing. That's a mathematical horse. Looks like the saddle bronc riders. Some of them ride, some of them don't. Always made me nervous when those horses take off and run straight for the fence. You're sitting on there, and then at the last minute he turns, and you're supposed to stay on. Or you can get off in the middle of the arena like those folks did. And we got to have the cowboy singers. This has been far enough back, I don't remember what group this was. Here's one of our heroes. Calf roping, but you're supposed to catch the calf a lot quicker. Got him over, got him wrestled down. Catching him a little late. That's what they call flanking them, when the guy reaches over the side of the calf, picks it up and throws it down on its side. That's supposed to knock the wind out of it so they're easier to tie. But you also have to be a hell of a man to pick up one of those 300 to 400 pound calves and drop it on its side. This fellow's got a little tire trouble. There's one of the judges for the roping contests with Cowboy Craig. No, this is the bull riding.
My favorite.
Spinning. That guy probably got his full 8 seconds. Oh,
The clowns are amazing, aren't they?
they really are. You got to be pretty adept, you know. You can talk about football players, but look at those guys. There's a 2,000-pound steer. He's asking to use his butt as a target. But their primary job is to get in there and protect the cowboys. Some of those steers aren't friendly. They don't quit. Now that's how you unload quick and try to get out of the way. Fortunately, that was a real dummy that was hit, not the clown, so far. Then when I was working on Arkansas Valley Ditch Association and we were short of water, Jerry Doherty, who was an accountant down at Associated Grocers, had his own plane, and talked to him, and we were going to fly up the Chico Creek and take pictures of where people were storing water in stock ponds and irrigating several hundred acres out of it, which we felt was a little illegal. Jerry had been bunged up horseback in Nebraska. Nope, I'm wrong. This is Uncle Jack getting ready to take off someplace. That looks like the rooster. Yeah, this telling Uncle Jack goodbye. Uncle Jack and Ruth heading back to, I don't know, maybe Nuclear or Nebraska. This is back when they were still flying the DC-3s, which was old, dependable Frontier Airlines. Let's say, I don't know where they're going back to Nuclear. Jack's got a whole bunch of plans. It could have been to Nebraska where they're building the missile silos, or the power plant at Nuclear, whatever. Anyway, they were able to fly into Pueblo and visit the whole family, and of course that was Ruth's folks there. DC-3 was a slow but reliable plane. Looked like they never get off the ground. Don't climb very fast, but if you want to be safe, that's it. Now there's Jerry Doherty's plane that I started to tell you about, and we were flying up the Chico. And here's one of the quote stock ponds. Then they're irrigating corn from down below it, which was not the intent of the Soil Conservation Service program. But I started to say about Jerry, he had bunged up thrown off a horse while he was working up in Nebraska, back broken at the lower part, on a wheelchair, but he was able to fly these air coops because they didn't have all the control. He could control them with his arms, and they didn't have the foot pedals like the other planes do. But you can see the cropland being irrigated out of this stock pond. Now there's I think what a stock pond probably is designed to be, to catch water, give the cattle a drink. But see, they were holding up a major amount of water at the time when the irrigation, there's our shadow, the irrigation ditches down below were short on water. But Jerry took me up there and we flew around over and Had a good time. You can see some cows on top of that dam.
Where's this Chico Canyon?
Chico Creek, it comes down by the, just down by the west side of the Ordnance Depot, Pasquale. Dumps into the Arkansas there. Further up, it's called Black Squirrel Creek. There's a Barnhart household. There was a field by our house. There's some more of our fields over at the other place. There's our feedlot, the old brick house, some more of our fields. How you do? Arkansas River, some of the fields we were irrigating, coming in for a landing. He did fly me up the river for a ways, but found out we better get a little higher because about Avondale, power lines are a little high above the river, so we almost nicked one of those. This is out north of Boone in the mid-50s when we had the drought and dried up, and this shows you what it was like with the drifting and blowing. It was pretty unhandy. President Eisenhower came to Pueblo to check out the dust conditions, and his plane got stuck in the mud at the runway at the Pueblo airport. Found a soft spot, probably the only one in Pueblo County, and his airplane got stuck in it, and they had to send out another plane to get him. But that's what it looked like out north of Boone with the sand drifting and blowing. This is some of the. This was a different year, maize field out there, and of course Craig out checking the maize, and I was always surprised at the size head they could grow out there. We planted 6 to 10 pounds of seed to the acre, and they would plant a half a pound to a pound. This was the flood, I believe, of, I don't know when it was, but it was one summer there was just a lot of high water.
64?
We had a flood in 65, but I don't think this was it. It might have been. But I think this was just a high water time. I don't know. Then, again, Doherty flew me down over John Martin Reservoir when it was about full. So this is, no, he didn't fly me. We just drove down and looked at it. I'm sorry. But this is what it looked like. It's a pretty big dam, and when it's full, it holds 400,000 or 500,000 acre feet. And so in 65 it was wet, 55, and then in 56 we got rain, and then they were able to spill a lot of water out of John Martin. Here's a sample of what the floodgates look like. They don't have to use those very often. There's Craig trying to keep him from, that's a rooster. Trying to keep him from running away. Nancy, and now who, I don't know who that was with us. This is back at the Barnhart household, looking down toward Dad. This was the old sugar beet plant at Sugar City. Sugar beets used to be a big industry in the Arkansas Valley, but the sugar beet nematodes got to them, and the sugar beet industry is no more, or at least not in the Arkansas Valley. It seemed like sugar beets have a span of 20 to 40 years, and then the nematodes and other diseases build up, and so then the people have to switch to other crops. Obviously, this is a big engine, but I don't know exactly where it was stored. This looks like a 4-H club showing up to go to the Black Canyon of the Gunnison, I guess. We try to take our 4-H dues and spend them no, this is the Royal Gorge, pardon me. Well, could have been a Black Canyon. But take the trips and looking down at the Royal Gorge. Very impressive, and for most of these kids it was the first time they'd taken trips like this, so we always had a good time. Some of them got a little nervous and didn't want to look over the edge, but they could look through the cracks. Here they come. David Hawkins, Ann Hawkins, Alan Lee. All these kids have grown up and are scattered to the various parts of the world, but turned out that most of our 4-H club members also turned out to be pretty good citizens. We liked it that way. Of course, that's the incline going down to the bottom. Now let's see who's that. That was Nancy and somebody. I think this is off the top of Skyline Drive, probably coming back from that 4-H trip. Looking east down the Arkansas Valley. Yeah, we went over Skyline Drive. This is a 4-H or Farm Bureau picnic. That's, there's Nancy. And that looks like Craig probably, huh? I think it is. Yeah, that's Craig.
Kind of blondie there.
Yeah. And yeah, that was the lady on the right was the 4-H girls leader for the county. See if we can figure out the rest of them here, see if you know them. And this is little Frankie Montoya washing his calf, getting ready to show it. 4-H, good program for the kids. And here they are at the showing. At the judging. And the most well-trained calves seem like you get in a show, well then it can get spooked and go any place. So they can be very frustrating. Okay, the judge has made a decision, going to place the top animals. Unfortunately, we weren't as good at cattle feeders as we could have been in my club. But everybody learned something and had a good time. Now they're all lined up in place, and the judge will give reasons for his placing. That looks like Lee Nielsen from out of Boone. The Black Angus. And of course they can be the spookiest bunch around. The Hereford Shorthorns are generally much tamer.
When did they build the big thing they're showing in now, the big metal?
Must have been in the 50s. Oh, and then we'd also save our money and go to the stock show up in Denver. These are some of the games they played at our 4-H or at our New Year's Eve parties. We always had New Year's Eve party for the club, and it kept Nancy and I out of trouble and kept the kids out of trouble. And their parents appreciated it. We always called this nickel nose. You put the nickel on your nose and you're supposed to be able to make it fall off by wiggling your nose, but it's a very difficult trick to do. And keeps people busy for a little while. This is one of the Isaac girls. Shows you how many muscles you have in your face and still can't do much with your nose. There's Frankie Montoya's sister. Well, and that's Lois LeQuay. This is a little thing that you've all seen, and the idea was to see who could get the most in succession. Some of the kids got pretty good, and some of them had about the same talent I did on that. That's Tom LeQuay. He was he was not Mr. Coordination. That's Frankie Montoya. He was pretty good. Mr. Blase. That's not Bruce, that's Jimmy Orchid. He was a little redhead that looked kind of like Bruce did a few years later. And you can see he's got his face bunged up like Bruce was able to do. I forget what all these games were. I guess this was called Destroy the Furniture. But we kept them entertained and fed them, and they're all just pretty decent kids. That's another Orchid kid looking right at us. I'm surprised I'm remembering as well as I am. And that's the older Montoya that was on the right. The gal's out helping Nancy fix up the chow for us. They were good eaters. Okay, here comes. Okay, that's the Lyles bringing the kids over for something. Now, what it is, I don't know. Maybe we're going someplace. Maybe that's when we went to stock show. That looked like the Freemans coming in, but they weren't going. I guess we're hauling them in their rusty, trusty Plymouth. Oh, the Chevy, I guess, belonged to the Buick to the county agent. He must have gone with us to help do this stuff. Now we're headed toward the Broadmoor. Wonder what we did. Did we go out? We went up to the zoo. Cheyenne Mountain Zoo. That's and the shrine. That's Craig. The one thing I can remember about this trip, we're going by the lion's cage, and I said, boy, that lion's a big sucker, and Craig kind of backed away from the fence and said, big sucker lion, and so he was always the sucker lion kid. They do have a nice zoo. The animals are not penned too tightly. As I say, a lot of the kids had never seen this or wouldn't have if it hadn't been through the 4-H program. Coyotes, they make me nervous. Or is that a kid fox? Okay, they make me nervous. But this wasn't the sucker lion. He was in a cage along the outside. Yeah, like that. That's Craig's sucker lion. Big sucker. Tigers. And that's the Will Rogers Memorial that Spencer Penrose built for in honor of Will Rogers. They call it the Will Rogers Shrine. Beautiful view from up there. Adds to the trip. Of course, a bust of Will Rogers.
Craig?
That's Craig up there on the Will Rogers Memorial. Just looking down over to Broadmoor and their golf course. No, that was Craig. That was the guy that was driving driving the
Engineer.
car. Yeah. Man, that's a pretty view of Pikes Peak, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. And this is the 4-H picnic. One of the Isaac girls, Gary Orchid. God, I'm doing pretty well, Pasquale. Gary Orchid again.
Fine old automobile.
That's Buck. There's Lyle. He's with the state engineer's office in the water. There's a 7-Up drinking Craig.
How long did he stay blonde?
Craig,
Yeah.
up till what? Well, by the time he started high school, his hair was brown. Okay. This is up Phantom Canyon. Oh, we got 3 carloads. Back one's Lyle's. I don't know who's in the middle. That's Mr. Lyle. Oh, and here's where they have the fish with no legs.
These aren't the same Lyles that lived above us by Martin's letter, are they?
No, no. Or these are the fish with legs. The fish with 4 feet. I knew I'd get it right. That's on the way up to Cripple Creek. This is up by Skagway. We went down to Skagway Dam, and that's partly they have power plant there and make some power for both for Southern Colorado Power. I think maybe they supply Cripple Creek and Victor from up there, plus tie into the Pueblo system. That's Mrs. Lyle. That must have been, that was probably a Bruce there in the bucket, I think, because that was, well, we figured it's 57 or 58. Obviously, this must have been a Halloween party. What a 4-H club. Doesn't take much to entertain them. This is always frustrating. If you're bobbing for apples on a string or in a tub, at least you can chase them to the bottom of the tub. But like this, where somebody's holding the string, they'll jerk it out from under it. Get it, Gary. Gary Smith. He got it, he got it. Jimmy Organ again. Red-headed wart. Proves that everybody has a frustration level. I think that's Matt Moravich. Now here we're going. This is where you can catch them. If nothing else, go clear to the bottom and get them. She got it. Okay. I don't know where she. Oh, it got the stem on it. We should have taken the stem off. I'd like to dive in the tub after that. Did we try our bus once to go someplace? I guess we did. This is over at Matarochi's house. Yeah, you look at that herd, I guess we had to hire Buzz. Don Edwards. Looks like we might have had a little bus trouble. I don't know where this went, to the stock show or where the heck we went. I guess we'll follow along and find out, huh?
Yeah. Like it's up in the hill somewhere.
Yeah. That's looking at Pikes Peak, I think. Or is it something else? I don't know. We'll find out in a minute. Air Force Academy, so we're north of Springs. Probably downtown Denver and going to the stock show. Let's see if that turns out to be right. State Capitol building. And that's just a big building. Now there's a stock show. Okay, so that's what we did. I don't know whose house this is or where we were. This was your mother, huh?
Is this a town show or a
This is one of the presentations for home ec contests. Some of Nancy's gals teaching how to do different things and measuring correctly. That's rather important. Yeah, but our gals were pretty good. This must be shaving balloons.
I was kind of disappointed watching this earlier. I don't think we ever caught one pop.
Well, after they all got good enough, Rob, I figured out how you do that. You take the razor and while nobody's looking, you stick a fork or something in there and bend a couple pieces of the razor up. So then it snags it good. But a good smooth razor blade, well, you can get by fairly well. But that's when I learned you have to doctor the razor blade a little. Should have made the balloons bigger, but or should have doctored the blade a little sooner. Well, who's that? Is that Craig? Must have been. This one must have been an earlier party. Yeah, he was younger then. Raleigh Brooks, yeah, he was one of the early 4-H leaders. So this is, Craig was probably about 3. Time on putting together a puzzle. Hide a few pieces or switch a few pieces.
Could this be
Christmas.
Year's 56, 57.
That could be about right, yeah, because Craig would have been, he'd been about 3, so that's it. New Year's between 56 and 57. The young Elvis. See, even I learned how to shave them. But then I also learned how to doctor the balloon or the blade. Sorry I don't have some pictures of Dr. Blades. See, he's too good at it. Good smooth blade will work. Jimmy York is pretty intense, isn't he? Of course, they got the person holding the balloon, they can get shot too, so. It's disappointing nobody.
there? You did get one.
Okay. Well, I didn't doctor the blade soon enough. Of course, you know, 4-H, one of the things, honesty, and I told them honestly, you can do it. But they didn't ask me honestly if I doctored the blade. Now we're getting there. Well, when this blowing up balloon set them in somebody's lap and try to break them, we didn't have any fractures. But it's hard to break those balloons. You want to be the jumpy instead of the jump-or. Now, who's that? And I don't know who that is. I think that's your mother. Gary York with his pipe. I don't know who these guys are. That's one of the Salominos. He'd shoot me if he could see that now. I think he's on the fire department. That was Mickey Smith's wife. They were helping us as 4-H leaders. Craig, and then, okay. Well, I'm getting most of them, Pasquale. You gotta have a special technique to do that. A lot of them never learned it. Pushing against it like trying to push a rope.
That you?
Yeah, that's me. Oh, here we play nickel nose again. That's tough. Test how long your tongue is, but it's never long enough. I don't know what this is supposed to be. That's the Isaac girls. All right, now what do you do with the gum? Oh, I see. Put gloves on, gotta unwrap the thing, then try to blow a balloon. Oh, and this is dangerous. This is where you tie the balloons to people's ankles and everybody else tries to break them. Craig's scared. There's a lot of violence going on there. Oh, and this is where you're supposed to be able to try to get untied from each other. It can be done, but I forget how. They're working at it. Wilbur and Bertie Parker, did you know them? They live down at the end of the lane where Thompson's, other lane where Thompson's live now.
Their house came down somehow or another. Flood?
Well, they built a house where the Thompsons live, and then they built on down below, down there in the river bottom, and we told them, you know, that's no place to build because you'll flood. And Wilbur said, I've lived here 6 years and never seen it flood. And his house floated twice in the summer of, 65? Don Edwards there to pick up some people, and there's Wilbur and Bertie. They're still trying to get untied. Now where are we going? Oh, I think this one we took them on a trip through the penitentiary.
Can you?
Yeah. I think this is the one where David Hawkins went with us. And you go through this pretty strict metal detector security thing. No, I'm sorry, this is up at the Royal Gorge. But we did stop at the pen and go through there. And as we were coming out, David Hawkins came over to me and he said, Buck, I got these 22 shells here. What shall I do with them? Shall I throw them under the bench? And I said, hell no. So I went over and talked to the guard, and somehow David was the last one coming out. I told the guard, I said, that kid's got some shells. Slammed the door on him, and they slammed that door. And old David really, he really got the chicken look. And of course, the guards were surprised that he hadn't picked it up. So they said, yeah, you're trying to, they hassled him pretty well. So he remembered a bunch. And he turned the shells over to him. And then we went on up the Royal Gorge. Buckskin Joe, and there's Craig with his favorite Indian. Billy Parker, he's retired from CF&I now. Donald Martin, you remember him. I think that's Don. There's Mr. Matarochi, he took a car.
What did he do?
He worked at Alpha Beta Packing Company. And Mike and Bruce worked down there for a little while. And they worked for him. And that's a little too tough for most people. Yeah, but this is the Buckskin Joe thing. We got to go through all of that. Take a wagon ride. There they come. Runaway donkeys. Then here's the feeding the babies. That's Rooster and Craig. This poor guy got shot. Ready to haul him off and bury him.
I'll be back. Next one's gonna be Mesa Verde 57.
Okay. Here they are on a train that goes around outside Buckskin Joe's. Gives you a pretty good ride around through there. Good view. Over canyons, scare the stuff out of you. Good view of the Royal Gorge Bridge. Buckskin Joe separate from the Royal Gorge, but it's quite a show all by itself. Now let's try to figure out where this is. I guess that was Buckskin Joe's from a little further distance, and this is some of Nancy's 4-H girls preparing a demonstration on how to, I don't know how to do what, make pie crust. Okay, but she had these gals pretty well trained, and they did all right at most of the 4-H contests. That's Joey Martin, Don's wife. Everybody's there to be a crowd and make the girls nervous. This is Marcia Martin on how to organize a dresser, which I guess a lot of us never followed and learned. But this tells you how to be neat and orderly. These gals were all pretty shy, but this was good training for them to get up in front of a group and have to give a demonstration. Again, got to figure out where we are here. Okay. This had to be that, I got the beard, so this had to probably be in 59, and that, old timers thing. And this is probably up at Lake Isabel. Looks like taking the kids out on the boat. Now it'd scare me to death, the liability of having those guys out in a rowboat like that. Doesn't this look like up at the lake at San Isabel? You look at the country around there, I think it has to be.
Like the life jackets.
Yeah. Take all those little kids and get them out there. Raleigh Brooks, the county 4-H agent.
On the river there.
Yeah.
Is there that much of a stream around San Isabel?
There was a pretty good stream coming in from the southeast end there.
Okay. That's not.
That's not pretty, no. Another 4-H Halloween party. Trying to get their jugs look mean. We kept them up late and kept them off the streets. And,
Well, you used to send them out on scavenger hunts, though, too.
well, we did some of that, yes. Your mother would dream up some oddball things, and we'd have them out panicking the neighborhood for a while they were looking for all these different things. That's two of our more charming members.
They've probably evolved since then.
Yes, yes, they've all turned out pretty well. You went as deep as you could go after it. She got it. Probably another stem on it. Now he was able to bite into it. Oh, and this is when some friends of your mother, Nathan and Rachel Kornblum, came out to visit us. They were he was her chemistry teacher at the University of Purdue. And they they hadn't been involved with much country living like we had. And I can remember they needed to use the bathroom, and your mother told them where the outhouse was. And whoever it was, he or she, came back and said, "I don't believe I've ever seen one of these before. That's quite clean." So they found out some different things about country living. But we're headed south towards the Spanish Peaks. Now we're trying to remember where we went with them. Seemed like we took them over to the Black Canyon of the Gunnison, and your mother will remember where else we went. But he was the type said they went to Switzerland, and he said he sat for one whole day just looking and studying the grandeur of the mountains, so they could really take these things in. Now what, this is a Forest Service.
Mesa Verde area? This isn't up there? In there?
I think we're a little far from Mesa Verde yet. That's their chauffeur. Here we are on top of Wolf Creek Pass. Yeah, headed towards where are we going? Over Wolf Creek Pass. Now we're down, I think, down on the Pagosa side. My memory's not here right now, Pasquale. Mesa Verde. Oh, sure, that's where we're going. That's what you said. You read the paper. Yeah, and that mesa is where the north end, you go up the road, takes up around that, and then goes back into Mesa Verde.
Family trip?
Yeah, the Kornblums and us and whatever kids we had at the time.
Claims to be 57.
57, so,
So Rooster might be there.
yeah,
Craig.
Rooster and Craig have both been there. But, again, I'm still amazed these pictures have held their color and stayed together that well with that old second-hand camera we had.
It came through pretty decent to the videotape too.
Yeah, it did. You know, considering this is the run from the
Projected.
projector film to the videotape, I think it's really outstanding. And of course, they were just enthralled with Mesa Verde and the ruins, and they could probably spend a week there contemplating the different things and enjoying the trip. But really an outstanding, you just have to see it to appreciate it, don't you? And those arches are pretty common in that country, aren't they? You said a lot of them just kind of cave off in those big arches, and then they give them good protection and build back in under there. You can see all the structure there. That's the Rooster, so it was the year he had been around for a while. 56. Yeah, so would you say probably 57?
Yeah.
Imagine you're right. Because he was looked like about a year old then. Amazing things. And of course, built in under those overhangs, it gave them the protection for all of these centuries. There they go, climbing up to Conquer. And this is the main one, what they call it, the Cliff Palace, yeah. And one of the stories tells some guy out, some cowboy riding looking for lost cattle, looked down and saw that thing, and it was so much bigger and fancier than the little cabins they were living in. He called it the Cliff Palace and told some people about it, but really nobody found out much about it or did much with it till early 1900s. And I'm probably not off over 25 or 50 years either way. But the Kornblums just could not believe something like this, because they were, again, from Purdue back in Indiana, and they don't have many places like this in Indiana. That was hard work getting in and out, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Climbing up and down to the tops to plant your crops, and coming down in there to protect yourself, trying to pipe or catch the waters that came in. And this is pretty exciting for the tourists. I don't know whether they still do that or not. But the forest rangers there, the Park Service people, did a great job of explaining time and construction and what the different things are. And then we got in a little rainstorm while we were there, so they just kept us in there till the rain quit, and couldn't help but think about the Indians 700 or 800 years ago living there and watching the rain and nothing else for hundreds of miles around them, and wondering what was going on. lot of people visit there. Parts of this, the Forest Service has, as you remember, is reconstructed. But they've done a good job so it still has the original look, and by carbon ring datings on those timbers in there, they can get a pretty good idea about how old all this stuff was. As I remember, it was around, probably 11 to 1300. Then the question is, there's this sort of thing from here clear down to New Mexico, but where did the people go? Now where are we? This must be in the San Juans there on on over past Mesa Verde. And this is up by
It's pretty.
Uncle Jack. There's a train thing here where they used to come in and fill the trains with water. Molas Lake, and then on up above Molas, they were mining up there and built a bunch of new houses right before World War II. And then the mining all changed, and they couldn't mine. And Uncle Jack said we ought to buy that canyon up and just build us a fence right across there and control that whole valley, clear back up through there. But there's Red Mountain, and then, of course, there's always a little snow in some of the crevices. So again, it impressed the guests very much. That must be Red Mountain, but isn't it should be? Ouray, you've been to Ouray, haven't you?
Yeah. I think we did a little shopping there one.
That's what I think. Terry and E and Gail, and we all got in trouble, didn't we? Or at least our wives got us in trouble. Okay, and then we came on from Ouray, we came on back and came up the top and looked so they could see the Black Canyon of the Gunnison. Which is a pretty immense sort of thing. You can spit a long ways there, Pasquale. What did it say, 1,780 feet? And I guess some people still go down there fishing. There's some big fish. As I understand it, it's all catch and release. But they do go down there for the big fish. And now we're coming home over Monarch Pass.
Well, they have Old Monarch and New Monarch. When was this old new? I don't know when new came out.
Old Monarch, I don't know how many years that goes back because I've been up there skiing since '46. And Old Monarch was still, it was Old Monarch then. It had been bypassed a long time ago. So I would guess in the 30s. You can see it's cold, and Nathan Kornblum's freezing. He's also afraid the kids are going to hit him with snowballs. So of course with them, then we had to come back and go across the Royal Gorge Bridge, let them go down to the bottom of the Royal Gorge. And then we were winding down our trip home with them. And they headed back to Indiana, much wiser about the ways of Colorado. Of course, this is the hanging railroad bridge. It's the only place they had to put it going through that part of the Royal Gorge. There goes some of the ornery kids that go on this sort of trip. Then the cable car back up, which is And then the two cars pass, which is a rather interesting sort of thing. Practically can reach out and shake hands with the people on the other one, but it's wiser if you don't. Then back up on top, headed back down towards Highway 50, the deer were out there, and people feeding them cotton candy and all of those good things.
Back from putting the kids to sleep.
Yeah. Oh, and this is on the Gold Camp. I know where we are. We're on the Gold Camp Road from Cripple Creek, headed down to, going up Phantom Canyon. This was the Goldings, people that I was in the Marine Corps with in 1950-51 in a Korean mess, and they came out to visit us. that's the rooster from the Year of the Rooster. Or I think it is.
Was the fish was 4 feet alive or mounted?
No, they were in this little railroad watering place there, and I guess they're like crawdads. They develop so far and get to 4 legs, then they can't get out of there on the ground to complete their change. So they're kind of a frog thing that stays like a fish. Never gets out. But Jim Golding, he was sergeant, went down to boot camp at San Diego and trained recruits for a while. While I played radar up at Camp Pendleton. Again, these are part of the views that I remember from Cripple Creek. Big wide open country when you get up there on top. Yeah, and that's Cripple Creek over there or Victor? Well, one or the other. There they are eating watermelon. I think that's their son, that was his son Jim. And this is the Craig. So this must have been about 55, 56 before the Year of the Rooster. Oh, and here's the Skagway power plant. We went to it again. Had to show them that. So, yeah, there's looking down at the power plant. And that's how they get all their materials down to the power plant, is on this cable car. It goes from up to the top of the dam where we saw earlier down to the power plant. Of course, that's Pikes Peak. With plenty of snow.
Are there the gods or no?
No, I think this is on that Gold Camp Road, coming down from Cripple Creek to the Springs. Yeah, because here we are, we're ready to break out. You can see the plains and everything down there. Pikes Peak, I don't know. We went up to the North Pole. Okay, we did go to the North Pole. Show the kids the animals there. There's a rooster. Instead of feeding the goats are eating on him. This is a great place to take kids.
I remember going there.
Yeah, when yours get to be 6, 8 years old, you ought to take them up there, 8 or 6 to 10, something like that. It's a fun place. There's Craig. There he is. His racer up the mountain, like one of the Unser clan. Well, I don't know how high we went. If that's not at the top, it's close to it. But this is where they race. We're at Glen Cove right now, which is getting half up, kind of close to Timberline. And I don't know what reservoir that is, but there are a lot of reservoirs around on all sides of Pikes Peak that store the runoff and catch it for Colorado Springs. Well, I guess that's the top of the hill up there. Now, whether we're going to get there or not, I don't know. I don't think we did. I think we went to Glen Cove and turned around, but we'll find out here pretty soon. Nope, we didn't. Now we're starting to hike a Baldy hike with Wendell Holmes, his minister, Stanley Leftwick, and I. And we started by Lake Isabel, and you head south on the road that used to take out that way up to Marion Mine, and you get most of the way to Marion Mine, then the Bartlett Trail takes off to the left or the south, takes you back on top of the ridge all the way over to the Baldies. Of course, that's show you a little more. We camped up there by Blue Lake on the north slope of the northwest slope of the Baldies.
59, I think it said.
59, that's probably about right. That's Wendell's minister from Kansas. And that's Wendell, Dad and Mom's good friend from 100 years back. Cooked us up some breakfast, and then this is climbing on up to the top of the Greenhorns or the Baldies. And this is the view at the different ranges around from the top of the Baldies that you can see there. But this is what it looks like. Now see, now we're back up above Blue Lake, and you're climbing up this loose surface rock, talus rock, or whatever it is they call it. And you can see it gets kind of steep. And if you're not careful, you can take 2 steps forward and 4 back. You've got to carry water with you because there's not much up on top. But anyway, that makes a steep climb getting to the top over that rock. And there comes the minister. He probably asked for some help from the maker a few times getting up there. This was a little different than in eastern Kansas. The views are absolutely beautiful from up there. And this is from Haystack and North Baldy looking south to Middle Baldy. And you can see the winds are always blowing up there, and there's this rock cairn up there, and you dig into it. There are tablets up there left by the Forest Service, and everybody can sign in and say that they have been there. So that got us up the top to everything we're going to do. And it was getting cold, so we were going to get the heck out of there, down to where it was get down below the wind, so it was a little cooler. But again, beautiful country. A lot of walking. And then this is an old, I guess maybe gold miners or sheep herders cabin or something. So we got down there and spent the night there. And then came on down. But this is what it looks like from the top of the Baldies looking down towards the plains. You see, it's pretty good walk down through there. There've been some pretty heavy floods, rock slides, all of that sort of thing.
Camping gear has changed in 30, 40 years.
Oh yeah, most of this stuff was World War II things, and we're eating out of tin cans, eating beans and chopped ham, that sort of thing. Wasn't really gourmet dining, but no camping gear. Why, enough to outfit 3 guys would weigh less than we had on one guy there, with the lighter weight metals, materials, everything else. because most of the stuff was heavy duty canvas. And now you got your nice light ripstop nylon, all the other things that, this,
Aircraft aluminum.
yeah, so you're on canteens that are like plastic or something instead of 1/8 inch thick aluminum. But anyway, we got down, storm was coming in, and so this is headed back to Pueblo. And then we got home and left the door open for an hour and a half waiting for our butts to come home and catch up with us. But it was a hike that I don't think any of us will forget. Now we're headed west towards Canyon City. There's the Abbey and St. Scholastica, and the stuff at the edge of at the edge of Canyon City. Now headed up down up west of the canyon, headed down to Parkdale and on up through there. Now I'm trying to figure out where we're going there. But anyway, this must be headed north up toward Leadville, because that looks like
Looks like one, we're coming into a tape about Nucla.
Nucla. Okay,
And 59, maybe we're
all right.
heading up to see
Went
Jack.
over to see Jack and Ruth at Nucla when he was building or working on the power plant over at Nucla.
We're getting into shorter tapes, so it's going to be harder to keep track of
Yeah,
what's what.
yeah.
So where's Nucla?
Nucla is clear over in the southwest corner of the state, pretty close to the Utah border. And they had
And that's the name of a town?
Nucla, N-U-C-L-A. There's Nucla and Uravan. They're kind of in close to Telluride, and they built a power plant there at Nucla. They had a deposit of lignite, kind of pretty low BTU coal, but don't remember this too well. But they were going to use the electricity from that to work on to process the uranium ore from Uravan and those other little places around over there. And then the uranium boom went sour. Oh, and by the way, I think this is going through Gunnison and Adams State College, or no, what's the college at Gunnison? At Western State. Adams State's at Alamosa. But this is pretty wide open. You get over there, it's wide open country, and as I say, you're pretty close to the edge of Colorado and Utah, and it's pretty well shut down over through there now. After the uranium, like I started to say, after the uranium boom went sour, at Uravan and that country, why a lot of the stuff they had going, they shut down the uranium search and processing, and now the biggest job is disposing of the mill tailings, that sort of thing. But Jack and Ruth liked it over there. It's a long ways from any place, but they liked it. And there's a place, one of the peaks they call Lone Cone. That was one of his favorites. Now this is what Bruce and Elaine would call the Dobies, the stuff east of Gunnison, those barren creeks or barren hills, and there was a road to the Black Canyon. This is downtown Montrose, and we're headed west up over the hills to Nucla. As I remember, you go through a lot of big places like Saw Pit. I'd have to figure out what else. I'd have to dig out a map. But This is, the La Plata's down through there. Some of the prettiest, roughest country. What's the town you head south of? Ridgeway. Got Monroe, take to Ridgeway and head up over the hill there. And this is again part of the view of the La Platas. You go to Ridgeway, over the hill by, we'll have to just watch the trip and see. Like by Moles Lake, and on over that way. That told us the town, but we didn't slow down enough or get a good enough picture to see where we were. Could be Norwood, because it gets up higher. What's that say, Norwood?
I'm not quick enough.
Probably. That goes to, okay, Natarita, Uravan, and Nucla. Colorado Ute plant. And this is where Jack was where Uncle Jack was working. And I guess it was a pretty good job, as I say. He and Ruth both kind of liked it over there. It was kind of lonesome country, a long way from any place. And this is Nucla, downtown Nucla. Was not all that neat. There'd been a mobile home park built there, and they bought a mobile home and lived in it while they were there on the job. But again, they liked it while they were over there. I think not. There we are at their mobile home, and there's Aunt Ruth. Okay, it had 59. Okay, and that's a rooster, and you see the
Child abuse.
the child abuse exhibited on his head. You didn't know your parents were that mean, did you, Pasquale?
I'm not gonna say anything on film.
Okay. Yeah, and there's Aunt Ruth, but no, that was their home away from home. And I know we toured around there some. I think we'll have some pictures of some of the scenery here pretty soon. One of the things is an Englishman there built a water line to carry water that looks like it up there along the cliffs. We'll find it better. But went all the work of hanging this water line on the cliffs. And then when he got through, the discharge end was higher than the inlet end, and he never did get any water through it. But it was a hell of an idea. And then down here by Uravan or someplace, there are these brine wells, just very high salt content. And they put in what they call brine lines to pipe that water to the mines when they're working the uranium. And they still, when we were coming over by Vernal, Utah, there's trucks there that haul from Uray Brine Company, and they still use it in the mining.
Do they use it just because it's not useful for something else, or does the salt
No.
help?
The salt serves a purpose, Rob, but I don't really know what it is. Now this, I don't know where we are. I think this is
Telluride, you should.
Telluride, yeah. The okay,
What
huh?
do they call that? Is that Brattle Vale or?
No, I don't know what they call that. But up toward Telluride, and then the guy was here loading up his mules with salt sacks to take them back and put out for his cattle and sheep that he was pasturing that summer up on top of the mountains. And then after the trains gave up over in that country, Then they had those things there they called the Galloping Goose. These old trucks, and they put railroad driver wheels on it, and then a car like you saw behind it, and that was the transportation, the rail transportation over there for quite a few years. But it's hard to believe that Telluride has developed as much as it has now and is tourist and a kind of a playboy capital of that part of the world. I don't know what's wrong with our maybe 35 years of worn part of the film out. I don't know. Maybe I didn't do a good job of loading it or unloading it. Got some light in there. But majestic mountains, always impressive. Like that. Ophir, old Ophir, yeah, that's, okay, here is that valley we're talking about. See those houses, Pasquale?
Yeah.
That's where Uncle Jack wanted us to buy that valley when we had put 800 feet of barbed wire fence across there, and we'd control that whole valley back up through there. It would be ours, and we'd have all the houses there that we needed. Beautiful country. Yeah, this is all there at just where we stopped. Still quite a few fishing cabins there. Now I've got to figure out where we are.
Town going up the hillside there.
Yeah, this could be part of the Uravan where they're mining and processing, or set to process the uranium. That's kind of what it looks like. Okay. Maybe you can see some boards sticking out up along the, like that. You see those poles sticking out of there?
Mm-hmm.
That's where this Englishman hung his pipeline along there to take water on down to the valley. But the bubble on his level must not have been set quite right.
Because it ended up to the valley.
Yeah, he should have had some water from the upper end to send back the other way. So again, we get some fade out, but 35 years and doing it from film to VCR, I think it still turned out pretty damn well. If you look along there, you can see more of the row of poles sticking out there to hang that on. Okay, now Uncle Jack took his .22 pistol and took Craig down practice shooting. I think the tin can was pretty safe. But Craig had a good time, and so did Uncle Jack. Oh, and see, that looks like snow. That's discharged from the brine line where that salt catches there. Now here's that coal mine. See that? See the big shovels? Or they were big at that time. But see, here's what they're mining, this low BTU coal. But you look, the seams are comparatively thin for all the stone they have to move. So I think probably the economics of the pay product versus the overburden got to them. And this again, I think, is above Nuclear, looking toward the La Platas over in there. Big, wide open country, and it still is. hadn't been influxed. Now that right there, that you saw that little peak sticking up, that was Lone Cone. That was Jack and Ruth's favorite. On that dirt road, that's where we came out of Nuclear, headed over the hill to Norwood to head, and Ruth rode back with us. And I think that some of this was on the trip back to Pueblo. Nope, I'm wrong. Now we're skiing Colorado. Our
There
nuclear,
already?
huh?
We there already?
Yeah, our nuclear trip is over. This is Gherkin and Bill Quillen and Dates, and this is up by the mountains north of Leadville, the Collegiate Range, Princeton, Yale, and Harvard, and then Mount Massive is the biggest one clear to the north. And we would go skiing up at up above Leadville. Now that's Mountain Massive. It really fits its name. So we'd go skiing up above Leadville, and it used to be Camp Hale. It was an Army training camp for skiers, and they left their ski lifts and everything in up there. Of course, the Army mostly was cross-country ski and stuff like that, but they did have the one ski lift. And it was a fun place. We were skiing on the most modern equipment, Army skis, 7 foot long, 4.5 inches wide, and a rigid binding, so if you fell, why, something was going to give, and it was probably your leg. On the left is Gerald Gherkin, on the right's Bear. There I go. This was a nice slope at that time because it's really pretty gentle, wide open, a good beginner slope. We used to just have a good time and think we were true hot dogs. That's Bear. Here we go again. See, some people were show-offs and went straight down the hill. But
We're on.
so there's where we were being the heavy-duty skiers. As I say, we got a little older and got better. Why, some of the fun went out of this, but I think that's your mother coming down there when she was skiing on Leadville or Tennessee Pass. It was just a real fun place. Then we'd come back to Leadville and stop at what we called the Lead Ass, or the Brass Ass, which is the Golden Burro. Have a little sip or two, and there comes Nancy again. Ted Bear showing off how to do a spin and fall. And then this mad dash is the end of the day up on Cooper Hill, which was the name of Tennessee Pass, Leadville, whatever you want to call it. Mad rush and everybody coming in, heading for the road out of there. And here we are in genuine downtown Leadville, stopping for a little libation. This is either getting ready to go skiing again or coming home from skiing. And there's a rooster, there's a Craig, and we got a whole bunch of different things coming up now. A lot of short clips, we'll just go through them. Okay, we got the sled. I don't know where we're going, but we're going to, I think maybe we went up to Broadmoor. I don't know, we'll find out. Put a short skiing trip up there to Broadmoor. Yeah, and the way that's skiing, it looked like we were skiing mainly mush or mud. And the guys were playing on the sled. But this was late in the spring, and the conditions were probably from fair to poor, and there were a few rocks showing like in this picture. So it really wasn't the best skiing time. But the Broadmoor always had trouble. Now here are the guys. Oh, and now there you go, a way to, instead of a sled, you use a scoop shovel and ride down on that, like they're doing right there. You see, works great. Then this is another Monarch Pass thing. We'll see who's there. Snowball fight. I don't know who they're fighting with. Oh, that was Elmer Wheel, the guy who was in the Marine Corps with the first time. He came through Pueblo, and he and his wife and their boy, we went over to Gunnison and Montrose. We spent the night at the Prendergast. They were living in Gunnison then. That's Bob Prendergast. Spent the night with them. This is outside of Gunnison, looking at the Palisade. Bob playing cowboy. That's Judy Prendergast. I don't know who that is. That's Phyllis Prendergast. Oh, and the Prendergasts were building a new house there, so we all slept in whatever part of the new house was available. And this was headed on up west towards Gunnison, or Montrose, and at that time, what you saw building was the bridge across Blue Mesa. And you remember, you've crossed that a bunch of times now.
Yeah.
But that's when they were building the thing. And so this was the road, I guess, around through Saponero and around that way, rather than over the top like we do now. Now where are we? Going to Mont Road, Black Canyon. Okay, we took the wheels to the Black Canyon. Reviewing these films, it looked like we spent more time at the Black Canyon than any place else, doesn't it? But I think it's just coincidence. We took them, had to take them to the Black Canyon so they could ooh and ah. And then we left them at Montrose, and they headed on their trip, and we came on back home. But the Black Canyon is still the Black Canyon, and it's still awesome. And especially if you're from St. Louis and never seen anything deeper in the corn furrow, why it does a lot for you.
Wasn't that where Randy Barry got stuck on the wrong side when the
Oh,
water came
oh
up or
yeah, and everybody thought Randy was a goner, didn't they?
Yeah.
But
Just last summer or?
last summer before, but the water racing through there can be pretty mean. There's 2-gun Craig and 1-gun Bruce. Oh, now this is something that I remember from when I was a kid. Up above Beulah, there's you hike up Devil's Canyon, and then come up to a fire tower up there above the Beulah Valley. There's a rooster, but this must have been Craig's birthday. What do we figure? Maybe his 8th birthday?
Yeah. 8th is down here somewhere.
Yeah, he looks about old enough.
Yeah,
Roosters or somebody's in there helping.
so I should
Chop.
be in there about 2-ish.
Yeah, should there's Grandma Leftwick, Grandma Barnhart, and there's Blanche Holmes. There's Beverly, Grandma Freeman,
Craig Bruce.
Craig and Bruce. And there ought to be a Pasquale around here someplace. He's old enough to be in school. And I think that's Scott looking over his shoulder.
Is that Keith?
And that's Keith. Man, he's got he's got a Swiss Army knife with everything on it except birth control. Is that you?
That'd be my guess.
Yeah, a Roscoe. No, a Pasquale. Yeah, a Pasquale, by golly. Okay,
That's fascinating.
yeah. How many? 3, 5, 8, 9. 8 and 1 to grow on. That's Pasquale right there, isn't it?
Gotta be, doesn't it?
Yeah. That's the first you show up, Pasquale. Now see, you aren't going to do that to Ben. Pasquale, this was the year of the third or fourth year of the Pasquale, second or third year. Now, who's that? And what was this? This was earlier. That was Rooster. Maybe that's Pasquale, was a Pasquale too. No, whose kid is that? I don't know. There's Rooster. He's eating pretty heavy. And Craig. And there's Woozle. Oh, I think this is the Richies from Denver. That, huh?
Go ahead.
That was a Rooster there? Or was that you?
That's Rooster.
That's Craig. I think that's Craig. And this is the Richies kids. And they fit right around. You know who that sucker is? That must be a Pasquale, huh? Gotta be. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so you did emerge on the scene, and that's good because we knew you're here. Okay, Devil's Canyon. Now this is another hike I think the three of us took and went up Devil's Canyon and up to that fire lookout tower and then on down into Beulah. See, this is headed up Devil's Canyon. Steep rock walls there for a little ways. There used to be a thing called the Devil's Spittoon. A tree had been cut down or fallen down, and then the center of it, of the stump, had hollowed out and it looked like a spittoon. So in Devil's Canyon, that was a Devil's Spittoon. And as you can tell, the creek was dry, at least when we were there. And you'll see, that's pretty impressive hiking for a couple of young guys like that. Crazy old Rooster out in front. Now we ought to be able to see the tower in Camp Birch, North Ridge Trail. We all had to have our own canteens. Pasquale, we're about up at the fire tower. Yeah, now we're clear up at the top of the fire tower. So we've made that and then headed down towards, we made the fire tower.
Move forward. I'm going to try to get that. I'd get up because he might come down in the chair.
That's a wasp, isn't it? Good shot. Yes, he did come down on my chair. I'm glad I moved.
Okay. Don't let me interrupt. There's a birthday.
Yeah, and it's an exit day for the wasp. I'm glad you got him instead of him falling down my neck. Now we'll have to figure out whose birthday this is.
I think it might be it. Well, I don't know. Well, you got sidetracked with bees in the house.
Hornets. Jim Doyle, Dad. Jim Doyle was county agent. Juanita Minnick, Betty Minnick's sister, or Betty Leftwick's sister. And of course, you recognize your mother, and you know who those two guys are.
You
Show
almost
off.
look like E.T.
Somebody getting ready to go to school. Maybe both of them, huh? Two.
Oh, this is Bruce's first day of school?
Bruce's first day of
I
school.
bet that's what that was.
Yeah. You're going with him, and there they go, all on the bus. God, he didn't look scared at all, did he?
Poor guy.
Yeah. Didn't know what he's getting into. You dead X that thing good. Again, I'm glad you saw him. No, I think that's a Pasquale. And there's a Bruce and Craig down helping him, so it's got to be Pasquale, doesn't it? Uncle Jack looking at you with those very powerful. Yeah, that's
Well,
Pasquale.
you're running the big lights too, probably.
Yeah.
Al Freeman.
Mm-hmm. With the slingshot. Your mother with some crazy crazy wig we got, and there's Hal with the wig. Okay.
That's just building the corrals.
Yeah, this one we built when I built the feedlot there at the house, so we could feed there close to home and do my own thing.
Wonder if is Fulton around? Would he ever get in any of these, or was that
Fulton, I don't think he got in any of those.
John Norwood?
There's John Norwood, and I think that was Jack Howells. Yeah, this was building there at our house. Now we got what, another Halloween party. Gotta be Halloween, or at Christmas. God, who'd want anything like that under the Christmas tree?
4-H New Year 62.
Okay. So now what's it? Okay, here's the feed wagon.
We're still back there.
This must be feeding our own cattle or something.
We got some double exposure action here too. I think.
Yeah, we do, and that's Corrigan Heating. He put in the plumbing for the, well, I don't know, was it for the house or for Bob Corrigan anyway. This one,
Oh, yeah, that's what this bath means back
this
there.
okay, this one we put in the bathroom there,
Okay.
wasn't it? Yeah, okay. Yeah, when we got in-house plumbing. Yeah. Okay, Corrigan was working on that. Uncle Jack helped us with that. And Craig in the tub, a rooster getting ready. Kids, and there's a Ross or a Pasquale. You're a pretty good looking kid, Pasquale. You know, no wonder we kept you. Who's this? This Craig's again? Must be, yep. Everybody getting older. How many are there? 9, 10? Let's see, that'd be probably 9, 62. And then look at Rooster on the side of his face. He's got bunged up again. Parental abuse. Grandma Barnhart, Uncle Larry. About fair time, so yeah, that's when you guys, when birthdays came up. Everybody grabbing to see what somebody got. School books, school shirts, where the toys. Okay, clothes, All-American.
Bike.
Yeah. By this time we had the, who's that? That's Rooster, isn't it? Isn't that Rooster? And then Craig following him up. Now who's that? I don't know. 2, 4, 6, 8. So this would be probably 7th birthday. This could be a Rooster's birthday. Yep, okay. 7, so that'd be what? 62, 63. He's pretty windy. Came back and got it. That's a Pasquale back there in the corner, isn't it? You're sneaking in and opening up some of his presents. Watch it, Pasquale. He'll get you. Everybody grabbing, wanting to help each other. Gotta go pretty quick at that. You'd learn to kind of stay out of the big boys' way and let them do it themselves, hadn't you?
Wanted to see what was going on though.
Okay, close. What's next? Yeah, you were sticking your head in there all right. There's a racer.
No.
I don't know where that part you gotta put together or... What's he got? Okay, and here's your lambs. We had quite a few sheep there for a while, didn't we? I didn't remember we had that many. Okay. Yeah, this your guy's sheep. Okay.
Man, we're clear back here.
This one we had them on top of up by the house, and we moved them down to the pen. Bah! There's the rooster. That might be when we picked up yours over at Zavisland. That's probably what it was, why there were so many. We just got part of them. Yeah. Oh, and here, okay. This one we took, oh, well, this one we took them over to Cerulli's to have them sheared, yeah. Okay. Yeah, loaded them up and took them over there to get them sheared. I think most of these shearers were from Mexico. And they came up here for shearing season. And that's hard work. See, they tie them so they can't kick. And they just go ahead and get them. They know how to take the wool off so it stays in pretty much one piece. Or so they can wrap it up and there's the wool packer. They sure look lonesome when they're sheared.
This is Easter
Easter egg.
62.
Okay, so there's a Pasquale, and he was 2 years old, and the big boys are going after all the stuff, and you're there getting screwed out of everything, aren't you? Oh, you found some. I'll bet your mother helped you keep from getting completely skunked. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. Who's this? Two guys. That's Rooster and you, isn't it? Yeah. You must have been down to Grandpa's for something.
Air Force Academy 4-H trip is in here.
Yeah, okay, this is it. So I don't know what year it was, but we went there and went to the, I want to say aquarium, but that's not it.
Oh,
Where they
Star
look,
Show, whatever it is.
where they look at moons and stars and
Yeah,
planetarium, that's
there
it.
you go.
Yeah. Yeah, we knew we'd get it. Of course, this is the Air Force Academy.
4-H fair time.
Yeah, now we'll have picture Craig. Have picture Craig and his steer's name was Lemke. We bought it from some people named Lemke up there on a Gold Camp Road. When we tried to load that sucker, he gave us nothing but static. So. That's Barb Helmsing. Remember her?
Mm-hmm.
She's 4-H leader now and real good lady. There's Craig with Lemke. after we got Lemke loaded and got him out there, he stood halfway decent for Craig most of the time. But he was crazy when we tried to get him into the truck to move him. But we just started too late and didn't get him fat enough to where he could win any big prizes. Standing there showing pretty well, aren't they? Shinier in your hair or mine. There's Craig. This steer just not enough weight on him. Didn't get him heavy enough. Didn't get him, like I say, didn't get started soon enough to make him fit.
Another birthday here.
Okay.
This will be the end of the tape.
He's getting old. What this must be is,
I wonder if he's old enough if that's Ross's first appearance or not. I don't know. Ross was born in '63, so.
yeah,
Craig
yeah.
Bruce.
It could, let's see, it could be. I'll bet that's Roscoe.
Yeah, that is.
Roscoe, the audio department, Buck Barnhart, wishes to thank you for your time and listening to this. The technical department, Robin Pasquale Barnhart, is to be commended. There he is. He gets $300 an hour for each appearance. He's to be commended for the work that he did. But it kind of shows of the variety of things that the family did over quite a few years, and we had a lot of fun. So again, long live the family. We'll see you again.